Before The Dark Knight hit the theaters and changed superhero movies forever, DC gave us something special. Batman, the Gotham Knight, animated anthology. It tries to stitch together a bunch of different sides of the Batman. And honestly, it's pretty cool. Like, you get to see Batman through the eyes of Gothamites, which is, I think, the best way to look at Batman. Gotham Knight isn't even just a normal Batman movie. It's a series of like 6 short films, each animated differently from a different Japanese studio, which is okay. Not my favorite part about it. You know, it's different art styles, different tones, and different slices of Batman mythos, which I truly enjoyed the most. It was meant to be a bridge, the gap between the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight. But honestly, it's more than just connective tissue. It's his own thing. It's his own standalone thing that I think if you're new to the series of Batman, or even not that familiar with him, it really gives you a healthy understanding of the character. And what makes the Gotham Knight so special is that it doesn't just try to define Batman. It embraces the idea that Batman means different things to different people.
Somebody in here?
Something wrong?
Nope.
He could be a shadow, a myth, a man, a monster, a Gotham Knight. That was cheesy, but I put that in there. But seriously, he's different, and you see him from all these different eyes. That it really lets you absorb what they want from the character to be. You know what I mean? Into your heart. So let me break it down. The first story that they have is like it's a few episodes, but the first one is I Have Got a Story for You. And it's basically a bunch of kids in Gotham. They swap mildly different stories of Batman, and they see him in different ways. And it honestly is pretty cool because you get to see this Batman mythos from the children of Gotham. And you don't get to see that often, you know. You always see him as the scary thing, and he's even scary in there, which makes it better to me. And then we got Crossfire. We see Gotham through the eyes of 2 cops, and one who trusts Batman and one who thinks he's just another part of the problem. This short really leans into the urban legend aspect of Batman. The fear, the chaos, and the thin line between heroes and vigilantes. The only thing I would say I have a problem with Crossfire is the scene where the 2 cops, there's like, I call them cops, the two gangsters, I think it's like Falcone and somebody else, right? They like on 2 sides of the street, and they just like get out their cars and start bucking at each other from there. It was like a car in the middle. I'm like, drive away, get out of there. But beyond that nonsensical, it was actually pretty good because you get to see it from the cops' view, you know? And the third one is Field Test. So this one is where Batman gets some new, like, it's a new gadget he gets. It's like a bullet deflecting thing. It twirls. It's nice. But he learns, like, and I think the moral of this is that he learns that shielding himself might cause unintended harm to others, right? So it kind of clashes with his moral code and just, like, the actual survivability of doing what he does. This is not my favorite one. I think this is probably my least favorite short out of all of these that they've done. I feel like that art style, that anime art style clashes so hard with Batman. It's so flashy, even though Batman himself is kind of flashy, but it's so flashy, so dramatic that it actually takes away from the story that they're telling, I believe. You know, so let's move on. It's the one I actually really enjoy. And this is In Darkness Dwells. This is kind of like a gritty horror story where Batman fights Killer Croc and Scarecrow. And it's in the sewers. You got to see like there's, like in these sewers, you get to see like there's people down there living.
The Bat. You're supposed to be up in the sky. Why underground? You break your wings?
You know, like he's looking for Killer Croc. They're like, hey, over there. You know what I mean? Like it is, again, a different version of Gotham that we don't get to see on a consistent basis. And you see these people living there. You know, you see Scarecrow harming these people. Oh, it was perfect. It was beautiful. I loved it. It really was good. And then the next one is Working Through the Pain. And every time I watched this, I always got confused. I always thought that In Darkness Dwells and Working Through the Pain were one continuous short because they're kind of really close. You know, they're not close in theme, but they're close in like where he's at. You know, like I think he's still in the sewers for the most part in this. This is this besides the Deadshot one is my favorite one. It's the least action packed, but it just reflects so much of like Bruce's emotional pain. Like, the man is really going through stuff. He's really suffering, and in this short, it really doesn't glorify his suffer. You know, it doesn't glorify the fact that he's going through this. It really kind of exposes the nerve ending of Bruce Wayne, of Batman, where she kicks him out like, "Oh, you're not here for peace." I love this one. And then he's in there cradling all the guns and crying. It was just, this is one of my favorite ones, if not my favorite one.
Another happy customer.
And then we got number 6, Deadshot. So this is the finale. It brings in Deadshot. You know, if you don't know who he is, he's like an expert assassin. I never miss. You know, and it's pretty good. It's action packed. These guys are just like playing like a cat and mouse kind of thing that they're playing, and it's fun. They don't make Deadshot look weak, you know, or unskilled. They really show the terror that really could be Deadshot. So yeah, that's the Gotham Knight. It ain't perfect. Some of the stories hit a little harder than others, clearly. Some of the art styles work better. I think some of you might enjoy different art styles that I didn't versus the ones, like, I think that first one with the kids, I like that art style, but I'm pretty sure I can see how people wouldn't like that, you know? So it got something for everybody. But more importantly, it jumps into the Batman myth. It shows you that it doesn't, like, that mythology doesn't just belong to one person or one version. It belongs to everyone who needs something different from him. And I really appreciate the way it's shown to us, you know, because we only get a few stories truly from his eyes, and everything else is kind of like based around the situation that he's in. And I really appreciate that. So whether you love the Gotham Knight or think it's just a cool experiment, one thing's for sure: it dared to treat Batman with some goddamn respect. It treated him like the idea that he is, that he's really trying to go for. So look, thanks for watching. This is definitely different than what I normally do. This is, if you like these kind of like deep dives, I plan on doing more like low Batman films that, like, I guess kind of like just fall to the path side with some Justice League, of course, you know, and we'll see how everything goes. So if you like this and you like to see more of this, please give me a like, a comment, subscribe to me. And as always, stay sharp, stay safe, stay zoned.